Starting with the first meeting with Chuck, we started to identify what my business might look like. And I had no background in business at all. And my year with Chuck basically was like basic business training. So in the first 3 months, we got through mission and vision. We started to think, first of all, about the purpose. And I think the first thing we talked about was core values. And that was pretty clear to me because I wanted integrity and accountability and excellence, those three, to be my core values, which are not unlike the values that we had in the United States Air Force. But that's kind of where I came from. So in a fairly short amount of time, we decided that I would be some kind of a trainer and perhaps a professional speaker on the subject of leadership from an arts perspective. That's how far we got in the first quarter. When I met Chuck, when I came into the Action International office, I really didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know what business coaching was at all. But I hoped I would get the equivalent of maybe a year of business training from Chuck, maybe even an associate's degree, something like that in business. And that's what I got. From the first meeting, Chuck was helping me discover in myself what my values were, what my goals were, and what my purpose might be as a business owner. You know, it's occurred to me since I left my year and 3 months, I guess it was, working with Action Coaching as a client, why would other business owners want to do what I did? Well, I've met a lot of them since I left in 2006, actually, since I finished my time with Action Coaching. And to each of them, I've asked them if they've had someone who would challenge them on a weekly or monthly basis for accountability in terms of their business plan and their business model. And if they've had an opportunity to sit down with someone who understands business in a very fundamental way and a very sophisticated way and talk about how they can improve their business. And many of them hadn't even thought about a business coaching opportunity. And so I've recommended Action Coaching to many from all walks of life. And I've had an opportunity since I left the program as a student to do so through the Chamber of Commerce, through the professional speaking and training I've done elsewhere. And surprisingly, very few think that they need a coach. And my response to that is I ask them if they ever played sports, do they have a coach? In my case, were you ever a musician? Did you ever have a private teacher? Because every great musician has a coach, and every great business owner has a coach. Chuck Kocher is an engaging, wonderful person. And from the first meeting, I knew from his energy and his focus that he was going to positively benefit me in my goal of creating a business literally out of the dust of nothingness. A different kind of business with a different niche and coming from a different background. Throughout the time that we worked together, the great thing I enjoyed about Chuck was his fantastic questions. He had great questions that were penetrating and always on the mark to where I was in my development. He also made some great suggestions to me, and I can tell you within the first 3 or 4 months that I worked with him, I created a website, I secured an attorney and an accountant for my business, someone who could help me with graphic design, and I started to interact with business owners shoulder to shoulder, which was a great step forward for me because I had never owned a business, much less my own. And it was very, very encouraging to me because of Chuck's connections that he created for me to be able to talk to other business owners, entrepreneurs, who were in completely different fields than mine, and he was able to find common ground between where I was and they were. So a great teacher, someone who really cares, a very bright man with great questions, and I call him the great connector. Having the opportunity to make this video has given me time and reason to go back and really look at my study notes from working with Chuck. In a year, I accumulated 2 notebooks that thick of notes, organized month by month, and it was very helpful to me, even at this point, to go back and look at the basic fundamentals of business development and management that I learned from Chuck Kocher. I have a feeling I'm going to be going back to those notebooks over and over again as I get farther along with my business. But I thank him for helping me create Conduct Your Life, LLC, which is a leadership training business. And my niche is leadership from a conductor's perspective. Thanks, Chuck.